Okay, we're recording. So this is our new coaches from August. We're just getting together and chatting about any questions anyone might have. And I'm sure I'll come up with random stuff to say. Random words. Where did Ashley just go? Don't get upset with me. Don't get upset with me. Okay. Oh, there she is. She's back. Okay, so what questions does anyone have?
I actually have like a bunch.
Okay, you just start firing them off.
Okay. So my first one is, how do we have access to like sample workouts to send people in case they ask?
Okay. I'm writing them down. Sorry.
Okay.
So no. sample workouts. So, for example, like in the back office. Okay, so I'm bad, and once they put a sample workout out, it goes onto YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So I send it via YouTube. However, the correct coach answer is to get it from your back office, so that then, because when someone sends something, let's say they see the sample workout and they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I must buy something instantly. If they could navigate into the website, you would be linked to it. That usually doesn't happen, so that's why I don't stress about it. Usually there's conversation, there's like dialogue, and then we then talk about packages and stuff like that. But it is technically in your back office.
Okay.
For you to send. And like there's one for Transform 20. And there's also a free, you can do a 2-week trial of Beachbody On Demand. So they would then be able to try anything on Beachbody On Demand. You wouldn't be able to try Morning Meltdown 100 because that's not on demand until
it's not launched yet.
But they could do the sample.
Okay.
A lot of times I don't offer the free trial. I take it case by case. And I don't offer the free trial too early because honestly, a lot of times when things are free, people don't value them anyways. But if someone is, and we know our workouts are so incredible. So I really stand behind, like, it's going to be awesome. Like, it's not even really a question if you're going to like it. And it's so worth the value because especially a lot of times a challenge pack makes it so like Beachbody On Demand is so cheap, you know? So
so cheap.
It's just, and most of the time people will message me after they get Beachbody On Demand and be like, they should be charging way more for this. Look at this whole library. And I'm like, I know, but, or I know that they could, but they don't want to. And so that's good. So, I mean, I take it case by case. If someone is like someone who's really a questioner, who just like naturally has a million questions and just like really likes to like visualize how everything is, then I send more. Other than that, I'm just like, hey, you're gonna love it. But I will send out a sample workout for me.
Yeah, because I get like obviously like since I've been doing it, like I have friends and family who are asking me about it, and because they're asking questions, I'm like, oh, like you should sign up. You'll like it. You'll love it. Blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, well, can I like see one? Can I see what it's about first? So.
Yeah. And that's good. And I have this, and I made this, and this is new for me. We did this group for any coaches in. So we are part of a downline of, her name is Lindsay Matway. I learned everything I've learned from the business from Matway's YouTube channel because I didn't have a coach.
Okay.
And I just went in and, so she is the top earner. She's not top coach right now, but she is the top earner and she has had the highest rank. She's just incredible. We are in her downline technically. And so when she puts together groups or anything, I always am like, yes, go into it. And she doesn't necessarily teach them at this point because she's just so, I don't know, far into her coaching journey that she's not necessarily, but her coaches are always in the top 10 and like that kind of stuff. And so her coaches did this training, and one of them was that you create an interest form. And like thinking long term in your business, like right now, in the beginning, you're kind of like, I'm more easily able to send lots of DMs because it's not like, in the beginning, it's not like they're flooding. And I wouldn't even say people are flooding to me either. But if you're thinking long term and setting yourself up for success, so I made, and like I'm kind of extra, and I have a problem with that, and I will acknowledge that. But I made this form. Where is it? Come on. Interested in morning. I don't want that. I want. Hello. Hold on. I'm sorry. Not going. Okay, here it is. Sorry. So what I do is I'll send an invite and I say like, hey, I'm hosting this group for 100 workouts or whatever. Would you like the details? And if they're like, yeah, give me the details, I send them one more text box. And so I'll say like, oh my gosh, awesome. I'm day whatever into Morning Meltdown 100. It's a 100 workout program that's between 20 and 30 minutes. I can send you the teaser if you want, and then you can let me know what your goals are. So then up top here, I just put like a little whatever, like we're about health and wellness, not about weight loss. This program is going to be really awesome. It has a live DJ, has, maybe it takes you 90 days to do the program, maybe 200. It doesn't matter as long as we keep going. And then here's the teaser. So they would click it, and they could watch the YouTube clip. And then I make them answer my questions. So again, this is kind of I wouldn't even say advanced, but kind of a lot maybe for a new coach. But you could always create something small that's like, here's the teaser, or here's the sample workout. What are your, like, what kind of workouts do you like to do, and what's your biggest struggle with staying consistent, or something like that. Because when I'm sending invites, I'm always asking what they are struggling with, because I don't want to be like, oh, this is going to really help with your sweet cravings for Shakeology or something. And they're like, I don't struggle with sweet cravings. You know what I mean? So kind of getting to know their goals then helps you always come back to them and be like, I really think this will help with your goal of wanting to feel more energetic for your kids. Blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? Sorry, I rambled.
Yes.
Hi, Ashley. And I think that might be Carissa on the phone. I don't know though.
It's Shayna. I'm trying to log into Zoom. Hey.
Hi. Good having you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're a rock star.
My landlord is on her way here right now too, so I'm like trying to juggle all the things, but I wanted to see if I could hop on and get what I can, and then I'll re-listen to it later.
Absolutely. You're the best. Okay, next question. Any and all.
I also saw like on the tracker, hold on. Like, can you stop? Sorry. Hold on, where is it? Oh, like, so, okay, I saw on the tracker, like, product use, no brand name shown. So, like, do you not show brand names? So, like, intrigue, interest.
Yeah.
Is that, like, the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan, is because then when someone's like, what are you drinking every morning? I then will, you can flag their name. Like, okay, there's a flag up here, you can flag it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll go back and be like, oh, this person's relatively interested in what I'm doing. And I mean, they might be like, oh, I definitely don't want that. Or they could be like, yeah, and we have a sample pack and there's, lots of. Is that another baby? You hear the baby? Say, give me the baby. Yeah. Yes, and a lot of times, unfortunately, because there are a lot of network marketing, and I'm not even going to say that Beachbody was innocent of this, because when I first started coaching, it was like a daily top coach's suggestion to like take a picture with your Shakeology cup like this and make a post about it, because back then we were, like social media was a little bit newer. We didn't have Instagram stories, and so you had to show what you were doing every day. Well, now with Instagram stories, you can show that without having to be kind of so obvious, because a lot of times, let me read this. Yes, yeah, and like Ashley came in with us with Recover and Energize, and she still felt amazing, and then she ended up what is the can we give him an apple, please? Can Sissy have one? Yeah, so ultimately because you want them to ask you instead of assume, because sometimes if someone says, oh, you're drinking Shakeology, they'll be like, isn't that, they have this already notion in their head that it's like too expensive and it's not worth it. So we want to talk to them about it, because I was someone 100% who thought it was not worth it. I returned my second bag and I was like, this is a joke. And then I started drinking it, and I had a lot of digestive issues, and so obviously that was really helpful. But besides that, my energy, my overall health, and like I get anxiety, and since postpartum, thank you, children, like depression, and that has really helped because of the natural that are in Shakeology are also in antidepressants. But it's like a natural form. And so for $4 a day, especially when you get someone set up with the discount, a little bit less than $4, it is absolutely worth it. But we get to explain that value, as opposed to them just making a preconceived notion and being like, I'm good. So what I do, I read this book called Go Pro. And he is a network. A lot of times we read personal development books and they're not necessarily by like network marketing people, but he actually is like, I want to say founder, that's not a right word, but like a network marketing guru, like from like the 80s, like when it just kind of became a thing. Okay. And so he wrote this book, and it's all about third-party tools. And so you want this conversation to be a conversation, not just like, oh, you're interested, this is what you have to buy. But it's like, hey, what are your goals? And then being like, oh, that's really great. I'm working on similar things, even if it's not identical. It's like, oh, okay, I'm working on this. Have you heard of Shakeology? It's really helped me. And then people will say yes or no. And then you'll say, whatever they say, you just validate what they're saying. And then you say, can I send you a little video about it? And so in your Beachbody links, BB links, there's videos that the company has already put together to explain it. And so instead of, for years, me being like, well, Shakeology is, not trying to make it like a word vomit, but yet trying to like make it seem good, I just now say, can I send you a video, a 3-minute video explaining what Shakeology is? And if someone is interested, they'll watch it. I've never had anybody be like, no. I mean, people say no to me. I don't want you to think they don't. But so under videos, sorry, I don't know. So BB Links is an app. You put in your coach ID, and then everything is linked to you. So then you go videos, and then you can search up top anything. 100 Morning Meltdown, 21 Day Fix, Ultimate Portion Fix, to be my anything. And the company creates a video, they then put it in here so that you don't have to do the explaining. And so then I send the video about Shakeology, and 9 out of 10 times they say, I didn't realize that that's like what it was all about. And I'm like, I know, it's so good. And then later when they're like, oh, I'm really hesitant about the shake, when I'm like, okay, girlfriend, I totally get it. But a challenge pack is going to get you to try it for wicked discounted, as opposed to you having to try it at full price later on in the game. Especially with Morning Meltdown 100, Beachbody On Demand is $99 for a year. Access with the materials for Morning Meltdown 100, like what I bought, because I already have all the stuff when I just bought an accessory bundle, was $70. So that's $170. Plus Shakeology would be $300. You know what I mean? So you getting the challenge pack for $160 with my discount code of $10 off. And then they come in the door, and then you're like, okay, girlfriend, I want you just to try it every day. And then most of the time, people are in love with it. And then they'll say, oh, okay. And then you say, do you want me to get hooked up with the discount? And like that's it. Because a discount coach is wonderful, because that means you have somebody guaranteed. Hey, monkey, control yourselves. You are being a monkey. When they get in the door and see this community and feel the effect of Shakeology, they love it. Does that mean everyone can always afford it? No, but we can help them with getting the discount expenses. Is that okay?
No, that's good. I mean, I feel bad I'm like asking a million questions, but
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Then my other question is, like, you said on like one of the calls, can you calm down, please? You said on one of the calls, like to like you sign up one coach and then another coach like use like your spouse or something and use as like a controlled account. Yeah. So like, let's say like you use like your spouse's account. Like, do you sign people up under them then to like grow your lawn? Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm asking?
So long term, yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of?
Sorry, because then you also said that like with like we're trying to get to like a lead or whatever, and you want like active coaches. So like you need to keep that account active, I'm assuming, right? Like do things with it.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I used my husband's account to make myself Emerald. Mm-hmm. So I went Emerald with him. Then as I was pushing for Diamond, which is 4 coaches on each side. Sorry, this is so bright. Like I look like such a ghost, but my computer's crappy and the sun is right here. So 4 coaches on each side. So once I got a coach on the same side as my husband, I let him go inactive.
Okay.
Because I didn't really want to pay for products under him. But at the time, I wasn't drinking Energize and I wasn't using Beach Bars because my husband eats Beach Bars on the way to work. And like there wasn't as much products as there are now. Like before it was really like Shakeology and like Shakeology. And you bought like a DVD, like, so every once in a while, if I needed him to be active, I would make him active. But anyway, but then I made him go active again, and then I made him Emerald so that I could go Diamond. Then my goal was to make me Diamond and him Diamond so that I could go to New Leader Conference. I ended up not needing to because Brenna went Diamond. So that's how I got. But now I'm pushing for 2-star, and I'm using a controlled account for that. So this business is, you can control what you can control, and we are gifted 2 control accounts approved by the company. So this isn't like a sneaky thing. Your husband or your mom or your dad, because I have my dad as a controlled account, like they have to be aware. And if you make a certain amount of money under them, like that's on their social security number. But like if you're just putting discount coaches, they're not really making that much money. You're just kind of, because like when I sign a challenge pack, I get commission. And then a lot of times after I get the commission and somebody wants the discount, I then put them on my dad's account right now. So he's not making, he'll cycle bonus, but that takes a little bit of time to add up when you're not actively building your account. Does that make sense? So you kind of like ease it in. So in regards to Elite, yes, I have enough. So to be right now, as we're pushing for 2-star, you need 12 coaches. Well, I have more than 12 coaches. So right now the focus is the emeralds and the diamonds. So, but as you guys are advancing for rank, yeah, you need a certain amount of active coaches. But so what I do now is I run my if you make a sale under that person's account, you don't have to buy anything because then they're active. Because personal volume is either a personal order or a personal customer. So you need to be an active coach, 50 personal volume points on that account, run some way every 5 weeks. So that's another way to stay active. But then what I do now is I run anything extra under my controlled accounts. It's kind of confusing. But so, okay, so volume travels up no matter what. Damn it, I'm so extra. Volume travels up no matter what. So if I run my energize and hydrate and recover, not all at the same time, like alternating, and beach bars and collagen and those things now under my controlled accounts, I'm paying the same discounted price, and then it goes up into my banks to volume so that I cycle bonus more. Not that one thing of collagen is like crazy volume, but it adds up over time. So yeah, did that make sense?
Yes, it made sense.
And then it's long term, especially for you, Julie, who's like, I'm ready to hustle, is that honestly, we want you to be 1/3 by the end of the year so that you can go new leader conference. Mm-hmm. So that would be you going diamond and then you having your husband go diamond, which is totally doable. But that's the purpose of it, is basically to leverage to get to that event, because new leader conference is incredible and it's at the start of the year. And I went last year and it was, Brenna and I went and it was so good.
No, I'm trying to, I've had a rough week, but now that my week is over, I'm trying to like literally like retire from my full-time job.
I love it.
Can you stop screaming? Why are you screaming?
Yeah, it's you're always gonna have bad weeks. Like this week was funky for me, and I blame a little bit the moon. Can we just acknowledge that the moon has made everyone a little crazy? Because I don't know.
100%. I'll take it.
The moon.
I've been very emotional this week and had a really rough week.
I'm like, why am I crying? So we're gonna call it the moon. But yeah, okay, Ashley. Girl, work in the healthcare and you see now the full, yes, that's what I've heard, healthcare, but I also taught and worked in bars, and it was like, if I closed on like a Saturday night and it was a full moon, it was like the craziest people would come in. I'd be like, just shut the doors, like let's just shut the doors, like I cannot be subject to this kind of like crazy. But I'm sure healthcare too, because Brenna, she was texting me this morning because she's a social worker in a hospital, and so she's like, it's gonna be an awful, she's like, I'm not trying to be negative, but it's gonna be an awful day because it's a full moon, and she's like, it brings all the crazy stuff. But the moon, I hear there's good stuff about the moon too, but Ashley, what kind of questions do you have?
Me or the other Ashley?
Either. I just, your face in there, so I didn't know if you were tending to baby.
Yes. I don't know, I guess I'm trying to get into it.
Yeah.
I've been doing really well and going on Instagram and following people.
Good.
Getting better at that.
Yeah. And it's just this idea that we don't really each have like, I mean, we can have complicated stories with like lots of levels, but our story is usually the same. And so as a coach, ultimately you're telling your story over and over and over in different ways. Like some people, their story is they struggle with losing weight or feeling strong or energy, or they struggle with self-worth and all of these things. And so it can, if you don't have new followers, it can sometimes feel like, oh, I've already told this story to this crowd, you know, we're
That makes sense.
crowd. But that's why the check boxes are so great, because it's like, you know, how did I show my daily life where you can connect with people? Because sometimes we think we're so boring, but nobody wants fancy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people do, but I don't really feel inspired by the Instagram bikini picture. I
No.
feel inspired by a woman who is busy and hustling and trying and is imperfect and beautiful just the way she is, but is trying to work on herself and is getting results from practical things, because it's not practical for me to go to the gym for multiple hours. So anyways, that's just how it is. And that's why the compound effect, that book, it teaches this concept of put a penny in the jar every single day with your actions. And so at the end of the day, you look down and you just see a penny and you're like, I don't know, this was a lot of work for just this one penny in the jar. But then after the end of time, like a period of time, you have a whole jar of actions that have added up. So that's why we're going to start with that book. And it's really, really
Yeah, I am really enjoying it so far. I
good.
feel like there's been a lot of good things, like kind of journaling that he's talked about. And that's something I've talked with my counselor about recently. So I feel like it's kind of all being put together and will really help me through a lot of different things.
Yes. And that's the amazing thing about personal development, is that these books weren't like written for Beachbody coaches. And so they apply to like your whole life. And so I remember when I got into personal development, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm just feeling so good and so like whole. And so I felt like I had things to work on and I was working on them, but they weren't like massive things, because you know how he talks about like journaling, whatever your goal is, like writing it down, whatever you're doing, to bring awareness. And it was just really cool. So that book is great for business. It's good for weight loss. It's good for financial, like wanting to be on a budget. Like it's good for so many things.
Yeah, I actually already write down all my financials. So it was funny when he brought it up.
And then
something
you're like,
that I just did on my own a couple of years ago.
oh, good. And then you're like, see, I'm already a rock star. I'm already doing the things the professionals say to do. Cammy, can you put your diaper back on? Okay. I think I'm just concerned when people express interest, how to keep them interested. I'll explain the program to them, and if they're dead, them right away. So I follow up and get a response. So that's called ghosting, and that happens a lot to anyone and everyone. And so I try to remember that that's them thinking, that's them processing. And unless like they go away and like unfollowed you, most of the time they're still watching your stories. Like a lot of times those people are the first to watch your stories, or like watching your posts, and maybe you don't know that they're watching your posts, because if they don't like it, there's no way to track that. But it happens to me all the time. Like I'll do a bunch of invites and get a percentage of them interested, and then, you know, between ghosting and them not answering and all that, that's why Success Club, like getting 3 people signed up with a chat can seem so easy, because it's like, oh, I can get 3 people, but really you have to start with inviting like 100 people, and then in a few months a lot of those first people come back. So ultimately that's what it is. So I try to remember that it's them thinking, not me. And if they're still watching, they're still interested. So you just get to be the shining light of someone who's like still showing up and they're watching. And everyone has their own time, right? Everyone has to be ready in their own time. So all we can show is that like, hey, I'm doing this whether you come with me or not. But then a lot of times they come later and they're like, I should have just started with you 3 months ago. And I'm like, everyone has their own time. But yes, you should. So I'm going to post, I'm not done it, but essentially like this weekend will be 2 weeks till we, like I'm advertising like round phase 2 or wave 2. What do you want? Like phase 2 of the program. And doing 2 weeks. So I'm making a bingo game. So that for you guys. So you can check off and do the daily actions. And like then it's like just a fun way to get the team. So the whole team will do it, not just you guys. But then we can like do a raffle for who gets their board, you know, like that kind of stuff. Brigida used to do that online a lot, and I thought it was so fun. But just to force, you have to force it in the beginning. You have to force and think ahead. Like this week, what are some things I want to talk about in a post? What is my story? Like who am I as a person outside of Beachbody? And how has this helped me? And kind of telling all those elements of you in the way that you feel comfortable. Like I talk about a lot of things, but I've been a coach for a long time. So, and I've always, did you just go poop? Oh, okay. Hold on. I have to wipe his butt. Good.
Okay. Now you flush.
You flush. Okay. So, like, I have a lady that's been watching my stories. Well, I'm messaging me back and forth. You told me she's going to sign up 11 days. In 11 days. Okay, yay. Yeah. And so, it's, yay. I'm just so excited for you. It's exciting. And then you just have to keep going. And you have to just don't expect or don't count on anyone purchased until you see it in their back office. And it's not because we're not trusting. It's just that I've been burned a lot of times where I felt like I could take my foot off the gas because I had people who were good and then those people didn't order and then I didn't make Success Club. And that was in the beginning. So it's like you kind of have to be like, great, and then head down. Knowing that even if she doesn't order right now, she will eventually. If someone is like, I want to, they will eventually. It's just when. Okay, so telling your story. So I have always been really open on social media about stuff because I've just been always open in my life about stuff. But that's just my personality. Not everyone has that. And so when you're sharing vulnerable parts of you, don't ever feel like you have to share anything that you're not ready to share about. So the book, I'm sorry. What? What? It's a blankie. No. The Power of Vulnerability is an audio program. It's by Brene Brown. She has a lot of books that are great, but The Power of Vulnerability kind of takes all of her work and it's like a session that she taught and it's a recording and it literally changed my life. Like I felt like I listened to that program and I worked through things of therapy and it's not heavy. It's not like, oh, Power of Vulnerability, that sounds a little heavy. No, she's so light about it and she just talks about being like your best self and how you have to open yourself up to like love and fear and things so that you have to let yourself be vulnerable in that way so that like you can live a really fulfilling life. But she talks about that is that you never share what you haven't processed yet. So, you know, last year when I found out I was pregnant with Cannon and a couple things happened like all at once last January 2018. And I never talked about what was going on, but I talked about that I was struggling. Like, hey, I'm really struggling with my anxiety right now. And nobody was like, hey, tell me the details. Like, a couple people had messaged me and been like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm totally okay. And, you know, just working through some stuff. But my sibling's father was going through some legal stuff, and it just hit me really hard. And I found out I was pregnant with a third surprise baby. And so it was just like, and then later it was like, oh, I'm pregnant and I've been throwing up. So that's why I've been, you know, so you let things out when you can. But people, when you say, oh, I'm struggling with my anxiety, I'm struggling with feeling whatever, people will relate to that, whether the struggle is the same or different. Like, we all come together with what struggle is. It just might be different. And talk about coaching right now. Like, don't wait to talk about what this opportunity has for you because you think you haven't made some level of success, because you have made some level of success. Even if you've made one commission check, or not even a commission check, but you have the hope and you have the dream and you have the hustle that will make you extra money because your job wasn't allowing you to, or you have community, you have accountability, all of this stuff. So when we talk about coaching, we can talk about who I was, what I'm doing now, and where I'm going. And at different points in our coaching journey, one side is heavier, right? Like, a top coach has a pretty good past of like all the things she's overcome through, you know, health wins and financial wins and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean her story is any more powerful than the girl who signs up and says, my life, like, for me as a teacher, like, my life was planned out for me. There was no way changing what I was going to make for the next 25 years until retirement, which is fine, but I didn't want that. This opportunity allows me to change my financial future. Like, that's still my story, and that was my story in the beginning. And that's just as powerful. And $50 makes a huge difference to a lot of us. And so when we think, oh, I don't want to share it, all I made was $50. No, that's significant. That is, for some people, that's the difference between food on the table and not, you know, splitting one something. So share about all of this stuff now. And it doesn't have to be this incredible, like, novel, you know, don't feel you have to create that, but just like, I'm loving this. I'm having a great time. It's so fun. For me in the beginning, I just loved that I was able to, like, hope and dream. Like, that was given back to me, because when we were pregnant with Carter and we were going through the finances, it was like there was no hoping and dreaming. It was black and white, and I didn't like the answer. And so, yeah, that was kind of the story in the beginning for me. So this week, think about things that you can say in a post that share a little bit of your story, you know, each time, and how this either opportunity or this the challenge groups are working for you. You know, there's a great, and if you want to look it up, Simon Sinek, The Power of Why. He talks about a lot of companies when they share, like, to get to the what, like, oh, like, this is a cup and it is, you know, it's insulated and it will keep your stuff warm, and that's super great. That doesn't spark emotion in people. But when you build for the why, like, oh, this cup is when you're driving to work, ready to go to an interview, and you're really nervous and you're excited, this cup is going to be the one that's going to keep your drink warm through everything. So it's just like, why are we in a challenge group? Like, what it is, yeah, technically we do workouts and they're really good, and that's great. But the why and the heart in it is that I'm a better mom, or I am feeling productive, I'm feeling better in my skin, I'm feeling all of the things. And that is what connects people to you, is that, like, that feeling that your hearts are, like, connected. Give me more questions.
All right. Well, I have a bunch, so I'll keep going.
Go.
Mine's just like, this is actually a pretty simple one. It's just like the Success Club tracker. I just have a question. So I know the week starts on Thursday. So when you put like the week of, do you put like the week starting like for Thursday? Like,
yeah.
I guess like, because, you know.
It's weird. So
it's weird.
Brenna whites it out and does Monday through, or Sunday through Saturday.
Okay.
I keep it that way because I live in toddler land and I don't even know what day it is anyways. But if you keep it the way of Beachbody Week, because what happens is at the end of Wednesday, it will then be like, it's the Beachbody Week. And so, well, if you make a commission, you'll write down that commission. If you have it Monday through Sunday or whatever, you get your commission in the middle. So it can be more confusing that way if you're tracking it, but either way is great. So I would put just, yeah, like mine, I wrote it down, but mine is, so it would be August 15th through the 21st.
Got it. And then
Beachbody's weekend. So any rank advancements that happen, any commission, all of that. So let's say you make commission this week, like you sell a few challenge packs. On Thursday, the 22nd, you'll wake up and it will say you have a check coming or whatever for, you know, $100. Then on the 29th, it will get directly deposited if you fill out your thing. So
got it. Because then like it says like, oh, like, did you check in on National Wake Up Call, the team call and stuff? So like that's like towards, you check that like I guess towards the end of the week because it's Monday and like Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah, and different teams hold their calls on different days. So, but yeah, in your week, whatever you decide. Kimmy, can I sit in my own chair, please? Thanks. How to run it? Just once a week, a team call and the National Wake Up Call.
Okay. I think that's really, like, a lot of my questions are just more or less like, it's not so much like, oh, how do you get people, things like that. Like, I think you've been very clear in explaining that. It's just like, I guess using the tools that are provided to us. I have questions on like those things.
Yeah, and that's honestly in the beginning. He is like, I don't want to be crude, but if he could crawl back up into my vagina, I feel like he would. Like,
same with my daughter, right?
Snuggle back up there. Like, he's so intensely needing, which is sweet and great, but it's annoying. Cammy, why do you have no diaper on now? That'd be super great if you could put one back on. Yeah, and this business is, you think you need to like learn stuff, but the only way to build confidence as yourself in a building coach is action. That's it. So you just have to invite. And so when I said I invited 26 people last night, it was people who are following me that I've never had a conversation with. I don't overthink inviting because I feel like if you're in my storefront, if you have come into my page, I'm going to ask you if you need help. I don't say, oh my gosh, like you have to get shape. No, I'm just saying, hey, can I help you in any way? Like, is there anything I can do? And I am running a group, and would you like the details? Yes, I do. So in our team page, there's invite scripts. But I will tell you, where's my phone? I'll tell you the one I sent last night. I'm going to type it into the thing, just so it's easier to like keep it. You love water, huh? You just want all the water. We're transitioning to like milk, and he's just not really digging it. So he's drinking like massive amounts of water. Huh? You went to milk. So I say, hey babe, well this one I went through my followers. Hey babe, thank you so much for the follow. I am not sure if you have seen, but I run virtual health and fitness fit camps. We are doing a 100 workout challenge. Would you like the deets? That's what I do. And then like some variation of that in different ways. So if I can, I invite for my stories, because I think that those are the people who like really know you or who watch your stories. But some of these people might have watched my stories before, you know, or what it does is it makes people watch your stories. So it draws them to your stories, or they unfollow you. Like there's really like no worst case scenario, because if they're not your tribe, you don't really want them around anyways, not because you don't want them around, but like if I'm not serving you, go find an account that serves you. If, you know, like this, I don't want to waste your time. Nobody needs to be scrolling through more Instagram, you know, junk. So that's what I say. But then if I'm inviting to stories, I say something like, hey, babe, I'm not sure if you've seen my stories, even though I have. I know they're watching my stories because I saw it, but I try not to call people out. And I say, I'm not, but I'm opening up enrollment or something for my 100 workout challenge fit camp, virtual fit camp. I always say virtual because people will come back so quickly with, well, where are you located? I don't think. What did you just throw? They'll come back with like, I don't think I'm near you. And I'm like, oh, it's all virtual. So I always say virtual fit camp. Would you like the deets? Like just that. And then when they, I'm going to put it in the thread because this is longer. So this is what I say, and I have it saved in my phone. So if someone's like, yeah, tell me about it. Copy. That's what I say. So I say, Morning Meltdown 100 is a program that just launched. There are 100 different workouts that range from 18 to 32 minutes with a live DJ on set. So you can kind of get in the groove and hear the trainer. We have our fit camp for this program with the launch, or we have our fit camp with the launch, and we're doing 100 days of gratitude. I'd love to hear what your current health and fitness goals are, even if they're big or small. And then I can send you my interest form with the teaser. Oh, and then apparently another message in there. I just copied the whole thing apparently. So yeah, that's kind of what, and then if they say yes, then I send them the teaser. And I just make them tell me specifically like what they struggle with. You're on camera, Justine. They don't mind. These are our new coaches. My husband has been known over the years to be caught in the background vulnerably, changing or mooning the camera. So I like to let him know there's camera. Yeah, so basically from now until the end of the month, you're just gonna hustle and talk to as many people as possible and tell your story unapologetically and authentically, so you can use all of your promo codes.
I didn't get those like promo codes. Do I have to contact Beachbody, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you check your spam?
Yeah, I checked my spam because hold on, sorry.
Why?
I did like the Beachbody chat.
Yeah.
And I told them that I didn't get it, and they said to check my spam, and then I checked my spam, and then I ended up, we're just having my daytime job I had to do. And I just never got to like figure out what the next plan of action is for them.
Yeah, so I would, contact them and then let me know what they say. I'm curious, because I was like, I would be someone who would delete them.
Yeah.
Like, I just would.
I almost deleted mine, not realizing what they were.
Yeah, I mean, we get so much junk email, right? That it's just like, bop, bop, bop. Yeah, so I'm really excited. And if you make Success Club, you get the Jericho doll. Obviously, that is. Did I tell you that yet?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. My child was trying to talk to me.
Did I tell you that you get the Jericho doll?
Yes, the bobblehead.
Mm-hmm. Did you know, Ashley? So
what? I want one.
So this is Siggy. He's not as cool. Let's just acknowledge that. But Joel's pretty awesome. And when I have an office, I'll like put them out. But so they're bobbleheads. And so the prize for Success Club this month is one, if you make Success Club your first month as a coach, you get a t-shirt. So you'll get a t-shirt and a bobblehead Jericho. So that's exciting because I like prizes. But that's the thing, that whether it doesn't have to be consecutively, but as a coach, there's a month for your first month. Success Club is a t-shirt. Third month is Monopoly Beachbody. Sixth month is a backpack. Ninth month, I don't know yet. And I don't know. I mean, it's somewhere, but I don't know. I just don't know until they come to me. And then every year, that's a new thing that since last year, that it doesn't have to be in like a consecutive order, but just getting more prizes, which is fun. And everybody has to opt into the Success Club trip. So the Success Club trip is like WC. So for making Success Club, you get points towards a trip. And so this year we went on the cruise. So we took our kids on the cruise, and then next year we're going to Punta Cana, no children. That's in March. But you can opt into the trip, and then new coaches, there's like rooms reserved for coaches who sign up in 2019. And so if you get high enough Success Club points, you can get an invite, and then you can come on this all-inclusive trip. And it's amazing. And I tell you, they are. John, aren't they so fun, the Success Club trips?
So fun.
You're done. He's done. So the success, and then, but then the work you're doing right now, even if you don't get invited to the Punta Cana one, will then put you in line for the 2021 trip. And then at the beginning of the year, when they announce where we're going, the first like couple thousand people get their invite, and then you are already in. So Success Club is important because of the trip. I mean, it's important for other reasons, but the trip does not suck. Okay, I think that's good.
So when you send people like the questions and stuff, you do that through Google Docs?
I made a Google Doc, and then, but I just send it to them. Like I just copy the link and send it through Messenger.
Okay.
But up until literally June, I've always just gone back and forth in Messenger saying, like, what are your goals? And can you tell me more about that and stuff like that. And then if you do make a Google form, make them give you your email address, because we run a lot of our business on social media, but if Instagram were to get deleted tomorrow, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm done, I don't have anything, you know?
True.
So even though for me, I don't really know what I'm doing with those emails yet, I have them in case I need them. Okay, if anyone has anything, and then what should we do for the book? Like, should we just each commit to, like, whether you read your audio, like, to checking in at the end of the day with, like, your takeaways? Like, if you do 15 minutes, because 15 minutes reading versus 15 minutes listening might be, that's like kind of a big difference, which is totally fine. But then at the end of the day, or after you listen to your personal development, what your takeaways were, like, what did you think about that? You know, like, so 8th grade reading response, but. think so. When I first started, or in even we have a group, a Success Squad group of people who are just ongoing trying to make club, like that's just their goal. And so we check in every day with like how many invites we sent and stuff like that. So if you want, and I would encourage that to be something that we do, like how many invites did you send today? Did you do a post? Did you do your workout? Did you drink your shake? Kind of a thing. And then we'll help each other get that momentum going.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, cool. I'm not making anything cool. I'll just put it in. So I remember doing a push, like a new coach push group in years ago, 2015. And I would just save it on my phone, if that makes sense. So I'd write invite and it'd be empty. And then I would copy and paste it into the thread and then fill it out every day. Okay, all the children are getting restless. Everyone have an amazing Saturday. I encourage on the weekends to be with your family as much as you want to, but also plan to set yourself up for the week. So think about what posts you want to do. Think about the goals you have for this week. And then it just needs to become a part of your day. Oh my gosh, it just needs to be a part of what you do. Like you just do this now. You just wake up every day and like drink your Energize and do your workout, or drink your Energize and do 10 invites from right when you wake up when you're fresh and motivated, or whatever. It's just like, it's a line from the comic Get We Love. It's just what you do now. Like what you do now. There's no like, just the new routine. So you guys are awesome. I'm going to stop recording.